Some state lawmakers plan to file a bill to repeal the recently passed tax on technology services. Renovations are coming along on the school administration building, and enrollment in Barnstable Public Schools is on the rise. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, September 9th, 2013. I'm Sarah Mannel. Results of the latest tests of the Cotuit water system came back clean today. At the time of the taping of this episode, the town was waiting for state officials to officially remove the boil water order. For the latest information, visit the town's website at town.barnstable.ma.us. Some state lawmakers are planning to file a bill that would repeal the recently enacted new tax on technology services. State Representative Randy Hunt says he feels the new law is unclear.
The Department of Revenue is still trying to formulate exactly which situations are taxable, which things are not taxable, and which things have changed from what their status was before. The problem is September 20th is the date, the last day that you're supposed to file these taxes that you collected from July 31st through the end of August. And the law is in place. It's still unclear. There's not final regulations yet. You have to fork over the taxes that you've collected over that month and a day on September 20th. There is no it doesn't look like this is going to be repealed soon, but it ought to be. And what you referred to was we had the Republican caucus in the House and Senate put together some roundtables last week across the state where we talked to business owners about how this was going to affect them. And today in Boston, there is going to be a press conference in Boston at a place in South Boston called Genuine Interactive, where the Republicans are going to bring the results of those roundtables and also announce our bill to repeal this tech tax.
The bill to repeal the tech tax was formally announced at a press conference in Boston today. The town of Barnstable is moving forward with the discussion on what to do with the Osterville Bay school fields. Town manager Tom Lynch explains some issues that they are keeping in mind.
In Osterville, they're looking at the Osterville Bay School fields in terms of like doing work. And part of the discussions that have come about of should we keep the existing recreation building or not. And we heard last week from the Osterville Civic Association that they thought that it was a costly repair and that perhaps it should be taken down. We were also at the same time looking at the school over in Marston's Mills as what to do. And there's some discussions that maybe there'd be an opportunity there to proceed with some sort of community center there if we wanted to use that. So we may use that as a community resource.
Lynch says the discussion on what to do with the Osterville Bay fields will continue. Residents may notice some changes around town in Hyannis. Lynch says the renovation of the school administration building is moving forward.
Here in Hyannis, if people are driving by the school administration building, they've begun the window replacement. And we've been doing a lot of the repointing on the outside to that historic building and the roof repairs. And now the new windows are going in. It just is going to kind of jump out at you that this building really has unique architecture and part of our town hall complex. So we're very excited to see
that. The renovation of the school administration building will continue over the next few months. Last week was the first week of back to school for students and teachers in Barnstable. Dr. Mary Schakowsky says that due to an increase in the number of first graders, they had to add an extra teacher at West Villages Elementary.
As part of tradition, Marie and I always visit the schools the first few days of opening, and I can tell you that it was a very smooth opening. I had very, very minor issues. Overall, I think, transportation always always continues to be an issue of a district of this size. But overall, I think it was a very, very smooth opening. It was, you know, as we visited the schools, it was so great to see the students all dressed up on that first day with their new outfits and their new Jordan sneakers and, you know, their new dresses for some of the little girls, and it was just great. You know, it's good to get back into a routine. One of the things I think was considerably different this year is we saw, and we have some preliminary numbers, an increase in our elementary schools in particular. We have over at West Villages, which is our largest elementary school, our enrollment last year at this time was about 421 children, and we're up to about 460. So we had to add a first grade. We have 5 sections of first grades there, and they were very, very high. They were 24, 25, 25, 25, and 25. And that is very, very high for a first grade. So in some of these enrollments, well, we started to dig a little bit deeper. Overall, that school experienced a total of 36 more children, which is almost a class and a half, but in particular was the first grade. We had 16 more students enter this year in first grade. So we're looking a little bit to see where these students, you know, are they from other districts on the Cape? But overall, you know, we scrambled, and, you know, I want to say thank you to the parents and the staff over at that school over at West Villages and our new principal, Kirk Gibbons, who we sent out a communication to parents, and so we had a choice to make here. Do we keep those sections at 25, which would be very, very difficult, I think, for first grade teachers, or do we add another section? So it involves some moving around of classrooms, letting parents know that, you know, the teacher that may have gotten for first grade might be different because we had to move some students around, but I think in the long run, it's going to benefit certainly the students first and foremost, and certainly the teachers with some lower class sizes.
Dr. Schakowsky says an increase in enrollment is a good sign for the school district. Last week was also back to school for Cape Cod Community College students. Spokesperson Michael Gross says there are many opportunities for students at the college to participate in extracurricular activities.
The institution is really meant to develop students both academically as well as personally and with leadership. And so they'll be able to join things such as the Honors Club, the Phi Theta Kappa, which does volunteer work all over the area and with the campus itself. Our nurses, our dental hygiene students are out within the community helping everyone out there. We have the theater club, obviously, and a debate club. It goes on and on. I suppose that, you know, the listing gets a little boring in many ways, but there's truly a place for a student to find their own place. There's a wonderful jazz orchestra, a great jazz band that we run. Our Rotary Club students interact in economics and so many different ways for students to find their particular niche, put that into their resumes, and then head on out into the world. So it is a place to grow academically, but it's also a place to find that little piece of you that you want to bring out to the rest of the world.
To learn more about the extracurricular activities at Cape Cod Community College, visit capecod.edu. All town council seats are up for re-election this November. Precincts 6 and 12 will have both preliminary elections Tuesday, September 17th. In preparation, the Centerville Civic Association is hosting a candidates night tonight. The event will be held at the South Congregational Church on Main Street at 7 p.m. Candidates from precincts 2, 4, and 6 will speak for 5 minutes each and answer any questions. The Recreation Department released its fall lineup of activities last week. Many of the programs are offered conveniently. They are located conveniently at area schools. Registration begins tomorrow. You can register for classes at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center 5 days a week from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.